Hi, my name is Raynor from Ray Outfitted. Today we're going to be installing the Eberspächer AquaSystem in this van that's behind us. So let's go through a walkthrough of all the components of it, and then we'll get to the installation. These are all of the components that come in the kit from Eberspächer. I'll start up here at the top. We've got our coolant tank. This holds the coolant in it, and it also has electric heat built into the side of it. The purpose for this is when you're on shore power, you don't have to run the diesel-fired heater. And then we have our central control unit. So this control unit with remote display, which allows you to control it inside the vehicle. We have all of our wiring harnesses. Then we have our fuel line. And if you're familiar with the Eberspächer products, this is the Hydronic S3 D5. It's typically used for block heating in cold weather to assist with cold weather startup. So that heats up our coolant, passes it through everything, gives us our hot air and hot water. We have our intake and exhaust mufflers, and we have our plate exchangers. This plate exchanger is our water exchanger, so it pumps coolant through one side and then the domestic water through the other side, and we have a temperature regulation valve so that we don't have too hot of hot water at the sink. And then we have our air plate exchangers, pass coolant through the back, and our air is pulled through with the two 12-volt fans, pushes it through, and that gives us the hot air in the vehicle.
Hi, I'm Madison with Ray Outfitted. At Ray Outfitted, we specialize in 4-season off-grid camper outfits, be that building custom vans or retrofitting RVs. The key thing for off-grid and 4-season is robust in-house electrical systems, plumbing systems that are either inside or heat protected underneath, and the most important key is the heating system. Today in this van, we're installing the Eberspächer AquaSystem. This will provide heated air and hot water to the vehicle. The Eberspächer AquaSystem requires 12-volt power, diesel fuel, which this vehicle has, and will be able to run through piping, coolant. Confusingly, coolant is actually hot, so we heat up coolant to be able to run through pipes, to do through plate exchangers for hot water, heated air, and we also modify the AquaSystem to enable radiant heated floors in the vehicles as well. Radiant heated floors are an extra luxury that you can have. In a conventional house, you have a foundation that prevents very much cold from coming up. In a vehicle, we have wind whipping underneath, and so floors can get quite cold. So what's nice about adding radiant heat is this is extra luxury. It is a little more effective at keeping the vehicle warm. We open up these giant doors in freezing cold temperatures and let all the warm air out. If we have some mass of warmth in the floor, it can recover a little more quickly. As you can tell, this is an installation still in progress. This is our 12-volt breaker panel. There will be a 120-volt breaker panel as well. Below, we have the Serbo GX. This provides information to a display screen that'll be inside the vehicle. It'll be beside the AquaSystem's controller. It gives all the information on what the electrical system's doing. It also reports level sensors on the plumbing system and the diesel tank. Since the Aqua heater uses diesel, we want it to be easy for our clients to be able to see what the fuel level is, even if they're not in the driver's seat. The Victron Orions we have in the vehicle have two purposes. One provides steady, clean 12-volt power to give steady lights. These two provide alternator charging, so when this vehicle is being driven, power is going from the alternator through back to the batteries. To achieve our off-grid capabilities, we install large lithium battery banks. These are 3 200 amp hour Victron Energy lithium batteries. The base they're on actually leaves us space that we could adjust to add more if once the clients are using the rig, they find they want more power. So this is 12-volt power. This gives the lights, the fridge, the aqua heating system the 12-volt power it needs. Since this is a camper with some extra luxuries, it has a 3000 VA inverter. This is also the shore power charger. So this takes 12-volt power and converts it to 120 volts to power household outlets throughout the rig. This unit also takes shore power and converts it to be able to charge these batteries back up. So when we're using the AquaSystem off-grid, no shore power, it's the 12-volt batteries that are providing the power it needs to run the fuel pump and the fans, etc. When we are on shore power, we have two choices for using the AquaSystem. We're either allowing shore power to use electric heat and not firing up the diesel heater, or we're allowing shore power to take the work off the 12-volt batteries, still using diesel heat. So since we're installing the Aqua heating system today, one of the components of that is plumbing. Since this is a 4-season camper, we opt to install the plumbing system all inside the vehicle. That makes it a little easier to keep it heated throughout the Canadian cold weather versus mounting it underneath like a conventional RV and then adding heat protection to it. So this is this vehicle's fresh water tank. Part of what we'll be installing for the Aqua system is the plate exchanger that will allow this water to get heated up by the Aqua system to provide hot water to the kitchen sink and the outdoor shower that this vehicle will have. So at Ray Outfitted, as we mentioned, we modify the Aqua system so that we can also do radiant heated floor. There's a specific layout that was designed for this vehicle to meet the client's specific uses. So these two pipes will actually be where the coolant that the Aqua system heats up is actually running through the floor to provide that radiant heated floor. There are two more orange pipes tucked in back here. These are going to be running the coolant that's heated up by the Aqua to the other side of the vehicle, where our plate exchangers will be mounted, and so this will be a source of heated air inside the vehicle. There'll be a second one of these located up here to provide additional heat in the living space. So throughout the vehicle, we have the coolant that is being heated up by the hydronic heater, running through those orange pipes to get us to where we need to go for plate exchangers for heated air or hot water once we install the sink and the outdoor shower.
So we're about to install this underneath the vehicle. What we've done outside is we've put the 90-degree inlet and outlet on the heater. We've put the water pump directly on the side of the heater and on the outlet pipe. The reason for this is because we're going to be mounting it so close to the floor of the vehicle, we won't be able to get these connections on once the heater is in. So we're going to walk it over to the vehicle, and we take our mounting plate so that we know where exactly this needs to go. We're going to be mounting our heater right up here. So once we get the heater in position where we want it, we'll hold our mounting bracket and drop the heater out. And then I will take a Sharpie and mark my two bottom holes. As we can see, it's not sitting level here. So we're going to remove some of the sound deadening to make this an easier install. It's nice and tight there. So now that we have the heater installed, we can see our two main pipes off of it. And as I said, that's so little clearance here, it's hard to get the clamps on. This long one is the hot coolant out from the heater. And then we've got our water pump here that still has the cap on it, but that will be the water in for the coolant into the heater. And both of these pipes are going to wrap around and go up through the floor to our coolant tank. before we start priming, what we're going to do is walk through all the components and their locations, and then we'll add coolant and get everything going. We've got our main controller for the full system, which is paired with the screen up front. We have our coolant tank. We have our water plate exchanger with the mixing valve. We have our water pump for the heated floors. And then we have our electric heat, which is here into the element inside the tank. Over here with the heater, we also have our freshwater tank and our water pump. And the reason this is all enclosed in the same area so that in the winter, when the heating system is on, the coolant tank will provide heat in this area to keep the water and the plumbing from freezing. And up on the ceiling, you'll see that we have a Calori electric 12-volt air conditioner, which is controlled by our top thermostat up here. And then we have our Victron Servo, which gives us our monitoring for all of our electrical, and there's another screen for our tanks. And then we've got our Eberspächer Aqua control unit here. So what we're doing now is we're using the software to talk to the controller so that I can command the water pump on the heater. I've also commanded the water pump on for the heated floors so that we can bleed all the air out of the system before we fire up the heater, because we don't want the heater to go into overheat protection due to not having enough coolant in the system. So I can still hear a little bit of air gurgling through the system. So we're going to leave this on for about 15-20 minutes and then come back and double check to make sure that all or most of the air is out of the system so that we can do the initial fire on the heater and not have any issues. So we've got our heater that we previously installed. As you can hear, the water pump is running. So we have the coolant coming down from the tank into the pump, through the heater, and back up through the floor into the system. And we have all of our control wires here. We have our two coolant lines. We have our coolant line from the tank. We have our coolant line going up to the plate exchangers. And then we have all the wiring for the unit. So we've got the main power, the water pump line, and the controller wire. We have our exhaust, our intake, and our fuel line. And we'll go up to the front and show the fuel pump mounted on the side of the fuel tank. So here we have our fuel pump mounted to the front of the tank. The reason I do this is to help isolate the noise. So we've got our fuel tap line, which goes down to a quarter tank with a fuel filter, and then it goes out from here up to the heater, and here is the wire for the control for the pump. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch it over to diesel fire. So we click here, go over to here to where it says heat source. And we're going to say we want the diesel and turn off the electricity. And we're going to go home. And then we're going to fire it up and make sure that the hydronic heater actually fires. So right now the heater is doing all its pre-checks. It just turned on its internal blower fan for the heat. It's ramping up right now. It's going to turn on the fuel pump and hopefully it fires for us. So right now it did not fire on its first try. We can see there is diesel in the line. So it's going to go through all its checks again and then reattempt to fire. And hopefully it does fire on this try. Oh, there it goes right there. So with our hand on the outlet pipe, we can feel the heater is working. We can also tell by all the sounds it's making. So what we're going to do is shut down the heater, take it outside, and let it run for about half an hour to clean out everything and make sure everything's good. right now, while the heater's firing up and getting ready, we're going to just do a couple other checks. Right now we've got the fans for the air heat on auto. We're going to test low, which is already on. It's working. Medium. Medium fan speeds work. And high. And all the fans work on high. So we're going to turn it back to auto and let it do its thing, and we'll set the temperature to 25 degrees Celsius. So 25 is our target temperature, so that it'll actually let the heater run for a little bit, and we're actually going to leave a door open to let it cool down a little bit more in here. Okay, so we're back in the van. It's been about 25-30 minutes, and we can see here we're registering 24.5 as our current temperature, and we're set to 25, and that's with no window covers on at all, and we're about -4 outside currently. So now that we've done all of our testing on our heater system and our electrical system, we've got a little bit of work left to do on the cabinetry, and then it's ready to deliver to the client.
Welcome back. Things have changed a bit since you last saw this van. We've gone from an empty cargo van to a 4-season off-grid capable camper made for 2 parents, 2 kids under the age of 2, and 2 large dogs. Underneath the bed, the heated floor is skipped because that's where huskies will be living, and they won't appreciate the heated floor. In the forward half of the van, we have heated floors. There's also heated air and hot water, all coming from the Eberspächer AquaSystem. In addition to the heated floors and hot air, the AquaSystem also provides hot water through the outdoor shower and the sink inside the vehicle. Ready? So here we are in the kids' bunks. Right now, the children that this is for is, I think, about 1.5, and 1 isn't born yet. So they'll have a few years of being able to enjoy this before they maybe outgrow it. But it holds up to 150 pounds per bunk. Thus, I can sit here